Hola chicos, hoy vamos a hacer una revista para el juego de calamar. Empezando
Yeah.
esta serie está,
Shut
pero bien
the
buenísima.
fuck up.
Hoy ando con el Iván, el Antonio y el FPM.
Shut the fuck up.
You're actually recording?
Yes, we
Yeah, yeah.
are.
Alright, let's just keep going. Oh,
All right.
fucking Squid
Basically,
Game.
this series was fucking busting.
Yep.
Oh, why
That's
do you think it
it.
was busting?
Yeah, Ivan, you
Okay,
go
it
first,
was
bro.
busting, but it is not as good as Twitter makes it seem.
Well, why not?
Twitter's
You can't
talking
just
about
say that.
Twitter's talking about it's a masterpiece, and it's talking about, oh, it's a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It is not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10.
Why
One,
not?
they made 69 jokes in 2021,
Wait, did they?
and
Yeah.
yeah, the guy that was like, I chose number 69.
Oh
He was like,
yeah, the
I like
fucking.
69.
Wait.
Okay,
Well, don't say too
because
much.
of that.
Archie,
Wait, is this spoilers?
Dude, just
if you're
whatever.
gonna
Alright, man.
spoil
Oh
it, see
man.
that you're gonna spoil it, bro.
Alright, man. I'm gonna spoil
Okay,
this
well,
shit.
I'm
So if
about
you
to
haven't
spoil
watched
this
it,
whole show. Okay, the second part that I didn't like was that the final game was supposed to be like this whole entire thing was supposed to be like, oh, we're very fair, and no one should have an advantage, and no one should be like punished for what do you call it, for trying to play the game fairly or whatever. But the last game was absolute chance. And then the one time where they were able to like make it fair because the guy that knows the glass was able to look at it and know which one it was, turned off the lights and
oh,
made it
bro.
again a guessing game. I hated that because there is no chance for you to live by your own merit. Like even if you're like the smartest guy or the strongest guy or whatever, you pick the wrong glass, you will die. And it's not they didn't give you the chance to figure out what it was. Meaning that it wasn't a fair game because like this glass is shiny and they land on it and you die. And it's like, bro, this is not fair at all. Especially because one person got to draw lots to go all the way at the back. That was like my biggest thing that I didn't like.
Hey, you're making a lot of sense. I didn't fucking catch that the first time.
I was like,
I did not catch that.
Same. I agree with that.
like, damn,
That's
that's
actually
true.
smart. Well, that's true because then that whole concept of them being like bugging the whole time
Whole
of
idea
them
of them
being
saying
fair
that, bro, it came
got
out to
thrown
be
out the
fair.
trash.
It's supposed to be so equal that the guy couldn't know what the game was ahead of time, and so they fucking killed him and hung him up in front of everyone to see. That's how supposedly important that idea was. And then at the last game, if you don't think that's enough, at the end of the game, when they make it over, the glass explodes and the girl dies because the fucking glass got in her stomach. Again,
Yeah.
how is that fair that that's your final game and you make it there and they say, hey, just kidding, you die.
That was more like I guess I would call it a plot armor because they were forced to kill her off, so it would only be two people at the
Yeah,
end.
that's
Yeah, I think
also that's
they
Just
probably
feels
just dug
bad.
themselves into a corner and they just said fuck it, whatever.
they could just let her
Yeah.
die as well. That's what
No,
that's my
continue off of that. Like the last game, if you saw at the very first episode, you can have multiple winners on either side. So there was no reason why multiple people could not win.
that's the final Squid Game is like impossible to make it not a one-on-one because like there's only two teams.
Yeah.
So in the end, it was always going to be a one-on-one, so they should just let another person die.
I see. So the whole because
Mhm.
I see what your complaint is. So your whole complaint is that the Squid Game from the very beginning was always gonna be one on one, no matter what, no matter what. They already pre-planned this, but they've been bugging this whole fucking time, saying that like, um,
Not even
you know,
that. They said that this game was supposed to be fair,
yeah.
but then
But then they
people to
already knew
kill
that
each
it was gonna be
other.
a 1v1.
They allowed people to kill each other in the final game, and
Yeah.
they said it's
Okay.
fair. And then Doksu was like, "No, I'm not moving," like a little child. And then the other girl had to fucking kill him to move on.
Yeah,
Well,
that was.
that's
Bro,
actually
hold on. Touching on the subject of it being fair, why has no one brought up the fact that anyone who teamed up with the old man who was revealed to be the owner basically got a free pass throughout the whole
No, that's also
all
another
games?
thing.
I
Another
was
thing that
about
I
to
didn't like was like
that.
the main character. I guess he's the main character. I guess what you would call him.
Tihun,
He was
yep.
supposed to be like our hero or whatever, but in the second to final game, he uses the old man's quote unquote dementia to beat him unfairly again, right? And he completely like
but the old
tricks
man
him, and then
catches
at
on
the
on
end of the
that.
movie, yeah, no, he didn't catch on to it.
Yeah,
He
he
did it on
does.
purpose.
He did. He
No,
did.
he did. The old
He
man
He
did it
did.
on
does.
He
The old
did.
man
purpose.
does. The old man says. The old man says. The old man says. He says.
No,
Uh,
no,
He
he
said you
caught
would
it
trick
because
your own friend to
he
win,
meant to do
and
that.
then
Yeah,
he gave
because
him
he
the
yeah, he
potion.
says. But what about you? You've been tricking me this whole time, taking advantage of me.
yeah, like as in like he was making that on purpose. He was doing that on purpose because obviously he knows that he's
Yeah,
the
no
hero or
shit.
whatever. He was doing that on purpose to make him live. But yeah, That was another thing that was like, how is this guy supposed to be my hero when he fucking murdered an old man, regardless if he knew it or not?
Right, but did you know from the start that Ilnam, the old guy, was the master plan or the mastermind?
To be honest, I never thought about
Uh,
it.
I mean, on a
I
personal
knew,
level, it
I
didn't
knew.
really
Wait,
take
I knew
like
when,
that.
I knew when he did, because I've seen so many. Because one complaint that I hate about that I've seen on Twitter is that people think this idea of this show being like brand new is like a brand new thing. It's not.
Oh, nah,
It's obviously
it's
not.
not. But
Like
the way it
Saw is super
executes
similar
it,
to.
in my opinion,
Yeah,
is good because in Saw there are no likable characters that you care for. In this,
That's Cab in one of the start
no,
in this one of the
yeah,
Saw
that
movies.
is kept.
I forgot his name. He was
That's
like
my biggest complaint, by
one
the
of the
way.
main guys.
what his
He was
name?
literally chosen, and his sin. You know what a sin was? His sin was, oh, you're too nice to people, and they take advantage of you. That was a sin, and then he
Yeah.
ended up dying at the end. Fucking
I forgot about
stupid.
that.
But what going back on top of that, when you said did any like you could kind of tell immediately from when you remember when they were like all like fighting each other when it's lights out.
Yeah,
When he got on
Yeah,
top.
that's when I was like, okay, why the fuck did he stop it when he fucking saw him up there and he saw that people were about to like jump him? Obviously, there's something
shit, and
going
seen
on.
him going up
Yeah, you can obviously at that point, unless you're like,
like the brother of the cop. Even
Oh,
before he took off his mask, yeah.
that was predictable from a mile
Even
away.
yeah,
before he took off
Oh
his
yeah,
mask,
I dead ass predicted that from like the first episode. I was like, yeah, there's it's probably the main dude.
Little arc with the cop, that shit was so unnecessary.
That's so true. Like, why was that a
they
side story?
they made
And
it
they didn't even
unnecessary.
complete it.
Yeah, they made it unnecessary because he stopped talking to the main character.
Dude, I thought
oh
they were gonna
shit, true.
The,
interact way more,
the cop has started with the main character, and it was like, "Hey, help me," and
and then
then the
it's
guy
like,
was like, "Don't talk to me anymore." He went in his home, and then it sort of set up that like, he went back outside and talked to him, but that didn't happen at all. Like he
Not
just
even gonna
followed.
lie. Adding on to that, I thought that the ending would be that Gi Hun and the cop would team up and like take down the game,
That's what I
not
was
that he
thinking.
would actually win and everything.
Yeah, or at least it wouldn't be like a cold ending where it just ended with him dying. It would. I know it was gonna be a cheesy or something, but maybe they showed before he
Yeah,
died his
ending was
phone
kind of
sent a
cheesy.
message.
I mean, touching on the being cheesy, you guys do realize it's a K drama, so obviously there's gonna be hints of like
The whole thing
it
is
being
Yeah,
a
obviously
little
but
corny.
the whole
it is a
point
little campy.
is that like people are blowing the series up to be like this brand new, like never done before, never seen before type of
Yeah,
shit,
it's been
and
done so many
Really,
times.
I don't
Like,
think it's
when
that.
I said it, it kind of sounded like a joke, but it's like an actual thing. There's literally like two other shows that are exactly like this one from Korea, exactly the same, that are about death games. There's Alice in Borderland, which a lot of people are comparing it to this,
I heard
and
that
then
shit.
there's
Yeah.
the game As
heard of it,
God
but I
Wills It
never
or
seen
something
it.
like that.
Oh, as the gods
yeah,
will. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
basically.
it's not
Yeah,
a new thing, but does it better than anything else. I
Yeah.
really in what I really enjoyed the most, I really enjoyed our main cast or whatever,
Character
and the
interactions.
way they all talk to each other and the way
yeah.
they all work together. I really enjoyed in the first game where they see Ali and they talk to him for a little bit and they know that he's like the only one that's different there. And then when they're about to like reach the end and the music stops and you see that he's falling and then Ali grabs him.
That
That's
shit
like
was dope.
that was like one of like the coolest scenes because it showed that like not everyone was just pushing for the money or going insane or whatever. And there was like one person that was actually still looking out for others.
That's what I was trying to say. And Saw,
Yeah.
they make fake bonds, and then they're like, oh, you help me and I'll help you, and then they're
Yeah,
like,
and then at the
okay,
end they kill each other.
and then they
Obviously,
die. But
yeah,
in this one, they actually form genuine.
yeah, that's something that I enjoyed.
Mostly
No,
it's
it's only
mostly
the main character who does. The main
Yeah,
character,
yeah, and that
all the like actual like bonds where they actually care about each other, all revolves around the main character, and like he's the one that basically makes them all feel for each other because
that's also what I
he's
really
like
enjoyed.
supposed to be the only human like with actual feelings left there. Everyone else becomes
That's why I
crazy.
meant that why I also hated that he ended up betraying the old man.
opinion. Do you know what else was super good in this series? The tension. The tension actually, that shit was good. There's plot armor for Gihun, but
Yeah.
he's always in the middle of trouble, and you're like, oh, he
Uh,
might
but
bite the bullet here.
they did a good job whenever someone would die. That's part of like the main cast. You actually
Oh,
felt
it's
it
impactful too.
like I was like,
Yeah,
fuck, I
they
didn't want
made
this guy
it.
to die.
I think for me, one thing I like, which is not really having to do with the show, but more so the effect it had on me, was that it opened up like a whole new genre of shows and movies that I'm now trying to watch because I was kind of limiting myself on strictly only English or Spanish movies, something I would understand audibly.
Yeah,
But now I kind of like I want to watch these new shows like what you said, Alice in Borderland and all that
Watch As
because
the Gods Will, bro. That shit is beast.
yeah, and it's like it opens you up to all that, and if a show can do that, honestly, like you got to give it its props because they put in that work.
Yeah, now I don't have to watch
Yeah.
fucking
Would you
CW
rather
fucking
watch like
Flash.
a new stupid show like okay, let's say Flash or whatever, or would you like to
Bro,
watch something
any
like
CW show really.
yeah,
I don't have to watch that garbage anymore.
Call out
Damn.
Flash
That's
directly,
probably the
bro.
best. That's probably the best part about this is that finally these fucking like Netflix and shit. They're gonna stop making these stupid ass fucking original shows that are ass, and they're gonna actually let good directors from other
Because was
countries.
just distributed by
Like
Netflix. It doesn't
no,
mean
no, no.
it's
I
good.
know,
yeah, just like
but they're gonna make these. They're gonna get these like good foreign directors who know how to write movies instead of these stupid American ones who don't just rehash the same old stories with just new characters. Like at least now it's like new directors who know how to do stuff and like bring fresh new story, like old concepts into fresh new stories.
Similarly to that, I really like how each character, like, or at least the actors, really acted really well, and I actually like there's times where like you really dislike a character where you kind of start disliking the actor, but it's like you got to realize there's a difference and they're just doing their job and they're doing it right because
Means
obviously
they're
they're
doing
giving
it
you those
good. Yep.
emotions. Yeah. And you can appreciate that because it's like there's some movies and shows where it's like they do it so poorly and the acting, like, even as someone who doesn't know anything about acting, you can just tell it's bad. And in that show, like, I mean, obviously it was enjoyable.
or at least like what you
Hard.
think is like the most important or that you like the
Would
most.
have
It's gonna be the
been
second episode.
yeah.
My bad.
The cook-
Because if
cookie.
you actually pay attention, when they return, when they all choose to exit the game, because they have the option to,
Yeah,
that episode literally foreshadows the way everyone dies. If you pay attention to it, like for example, Seng Woo,
What the hell?
he tries killing himself, and if you watch the last game, he literally kills himself. And then, all right, so what is her name? Sei Bayok. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation.
The girl?
She tries to stab that one like lawyer in the neck, and then that's how she gets killed. And then Ali, so something is taken, or no, Ali takes the money, right, and runs off with it, and that's basically how he dies.
Tanwu runs off with the
Yeah,
marbles.
he does. And so literally
Oh
all their deaths are
wow.
predicted in that second episode, which is what I really enjoyed. Like obviously after, I would say after my second watch, because I watched it 3 times, the
Damn.
entire show, to really like look at everything.
Wow, I did not notice that. Damn.
Yeah, I don't really know who else. Oh, and then okay, the guy with the tattoo. You know how
Two.
when he gets caught up by the yakuza or whatever,
He jumps off.
yeah, he jumps off, and then how does he die at the end? He literally like
He
falls
gets
off
dropped.
the bridge.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
so it's like stuff like that where they actually put attention to detail and like they probably foreshadow where they don't shove it right in your face where it's like, oh wow, like the foreshadowing is kind of noticeable. You kind of have to rewatch it
Yep.
and
I didn't even notice it,
know
bro.
it. Yeah, that's why I would say my favorite would be the second episode.
They would. My two favorite games were Red Light, Green Light, and the Cookie Honeycomb. My least favorite was Squid Game.
Yeah,
favorite,
for
favorite
sure. It was
episode.
kind of a little too fast. Like it was not that
It wasn't
interesting
even a game.
either.
They were just beating each other up.
My favorite episode is episode 6, Gambu.
On the
Oh.
marbles.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my personal favorite episode because specifically because like
Yeah, I'm gonna
they
change my answer to that.
the way they set up like the in the past they set up like, oh, you should work with people that you work well with and work with people that are stronger or smarter that you pair well together. And I like the idea that like everyone had came into that game thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go with someone that I really like working with, or
Okay.
that I think I'll work best with. And then they say, all right, that person you're with, you're gonna end up playing.
Yo, I want to low key talk about like theories that sound believable,
All right. First
Because
theory. Go.
obviously there's some people that make theories that are just like stupid. Can't really think of it on the spot, but I for sure I've seen them on Twitter where they're like, "Oh, this takes place in the same universe as." It's like, no, bro, like just shut up. Like that shit doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
But
I
one
get
of
it.
the theories I want to believe in that I do like is that the old man Ilham or however you pronounce it and Gi-hoon are somehow related because there's so many ports in the show that like kind of back that up, and I hope they either touch on that in the next season if they plan on making one, or say that it's not true. Yeah, because I'd rather them say it's not true or touch on it
And
than just ignore it and like let that just flow off and be like, okay, you never answered the question
Okay,
though.
I don't remember the names. I know the old man is whatever, but I don't know the other names. So is that the main character?
Gi-hoon is the main character.
Oh,
said I don't remember the
who's
names
the?
except for the old man. It was I don't remember.
It was I
Mhm.
something, Ibam or
For who?
something.
Ilham,
Eonam.
Ilham, yeah,
Eonam.
Ilnam.
Ilam,
Ilham. Okay.
Yeah, Eonam.
Ilam. All right, Ilam.
My God.
Ilam is the old man, right? So who's
Yeah.
his son?
Mm, no one knows.
The main
But
character? No,
no,
the theorized son.
the
Yeah,
theory.
yeah.
No, the main
People
character.
the people are theorizing that Ilham is either his grandpa or his father because like I think in episode 6 in Gambu, literally they both agree that they've been to an area that looks like that and that it reminds me of the childhood homes. And then obviously we learned later that that was Ilham's childhood home. And so then you go back to I think episode 2 where Ilham meets up with Gi-hoon outside next to the like a convenience store. You see that they apparently live near each other, or at least Ilham knows someone that lives nearby. So there's a possible connection that they have.
Yeah, the more you guys talk about the show symbolism, the more I'm
It's
like,
more. It's more
fuck.
crazy.
Mhm.
I don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. I just kind of like enjoy the games. I think
I
the
knew it
show's really
wasn't
good.
But
a linear
that,
series, but I didn't
yeah,
know it was
that's
this in
that's what's
depth.
cool about looking at shows like that after the fact. So like the more you like it, the more you want to search up about it, and then the more stuff you see like that. Obviously, maybe you'll be reaching.
Yeah,
Because people started
at some
reaching
point,
all the
everyone does
Yeah.
that. At some point, everyone
yeah,
starts
people
reaching.
start reaching, but like as long as you have like base evidence and you can kind of see it.
On a similar, I guess, still a theory, was I saw people were saying that depending on what color you chose, your role in that game
Yeah,
changes.
I
Like,
saw that too.
if you chose the red one, you become a guard, and if you chose the blue one, you become a player. Even though those colors aren't like exact towards what they wear, you can still kind of see how that might actually be possible. Kind of running off that topic, what confused me was I thought he owned the games, but it turns out that those games still exist even after his death, which I don't know how
I
Oh,
think
they
that
probably took
makes
over.
sense.
Frontman.
Frontman
yeah,
probably
Uh,
I
took
think
over.
he gave it off to the front man because the front man was there when he died.
mhm,
Because I closed his eyes. I
I
guess
f-
he had like
Alright,
a
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna
space.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep there.
yeah.
I actually fell asleep at that part.
How you gonna fall asleep? But like, was like the most important parts.
Because I fell asleep right after what's his name, main character saw him and they were talking about the drunk guy who was freezing to death, and then the cops pulled up or ambulance and they helped him. Right after that, I fell asleep, and then I woke up right when he's like, um, he has red hair, and I'm like, what? This guy he just painted his hair out of
But like,
nowhere.
it's funny how people are making fun of it. Like, oh, he didn't have to paint his hair red. But it was supposed to symbolize like him supposedly moving on,
Yeah,
like becoming like a new person.
Mhm.
but then
Yeah,
he sees the train again. He's like, ah, shit.
yeah. I also that that part is like a little iffy to me, cause like he gets to the airplane
Frontman
and
is like just keep on
yeah,
going.
yeah. And as far as we know, he has not talked to his daughter at all since he got money, since he hasn't spent a single cent. And that kind of made me a little like a little annoyed because like, and that a lot of people on the internet are getting confused about that. Like, they're thinking like, oh, he's still a deadbeat dad, or he would rather go back to the game instead of saving his daughter. You know what I mean? And he's about to forget everything and just move on and get this money and move on with his daughter. And then
Exactly.
he sees the guy again, and he sees that the people are still gonna go through it, and people are
So
just
if
gonna
there
die
is a
again.
season 2, it's gonna be him trying to destroy the game.
Yeah, that's like
I think it's
that's what
either
it's
gonna be
supposed to be.
him or just a fresh new set of players, which I don't want, honestly.
Honestly, just don't make a season 2. Season 1 is fine enough. Leave it at season 1. There's no reason to add on.
Left too
Like
many shit out
we got.
unanswered.
Who
And two
cares,
Yeah,
man?
seasons.
That's the
there is a
beauty of
reason
it,
to.
bruh. You don't answer
I mean, there
questions.
is a reason to keep going because his story doesn't end because
Because he
he
didn't get
sees
on the
that it's still
plane.
happening. Yeah, I mean, he sees that it's still happening, meaning that like whatever he does after, whatever he did before, it doesn't matter because it's still going on.
You just can't go to bed knowing that the game's still going. That good of a person? I thought the plane was rigged and that motherfucker was scared to get on. Cause
Nah, it's like supposed
they said watch your back, just get on the plane, just shut up.
it's supposed to be like he can't rest and like continue living knowing that all those people died.
For nothing.
Ali
Personally,
died, Sang-woo
I would
died,
move
the
the
two
fuck on.
girls died. His mom dies at the end. He
Dude, that
can't
shit was
continue
sad. He
living
was
on
just
because
sleeping next to his dead mom. I was like,
yeah,
God damn.
he can't like move on because he knows that like this can happen to someone else. So whatever I just went through doesn't matter because they're just gonna keep going.
I was just say that personally, I would honestly just move the fuck on. There's like, why would you want to be a hero against like a whole corporation of people? As much as I, have sympathy for people,
I'm gonna do the final verdict.
All right, final verdict.
If you had to rate
The
the
more
1 out of 10,
the more we talked about it, the more I started liking it, and I might rewatch it again. So it's like that's just a 9 for me, bruh.
that's just a 9 for me.
personally,
I can't
I
rewatch
give
those.
it either an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 because if like for me, I think it's stupid to rewatch shows and I don't like doing that. Shows or movie, I think it's done. So if your show or movie can make me want to rewatch it,
That means it's
it's
fucking
like
beast. Yep.
yeah, that means it's a really good show because I enjoyed it that much.
Because I think the show is 9 out of 10, and there's not much to like hate about it. Besides,
So
maybe you hate Korean people. Maybe that's why you don't like the show. That's
Holy
it.
shit.
Oh, all right, bro.
Jesus